Hello, my name is Chris Cardenas, and I will be discussing the visual communication design specimen, the Voyager Golden Plaque. The Voyager Golden Plaque is a 2D golden record cover. It is also an instruction guide on how to play the audio and receive the stored pictures on the double sided record it is covering. It is also a map of our solar system should other life forms find it. It is similar to a time capsule because it houses Earth's diverse culture with imagery and audio tracks. The goal is to have a day where extraterrestrial life forms decode the information and possibly come to Earth. Over this presentation, I will be discussing a brief history, the design of it, how it was made, decoding all the information of the symbols on it, the contents of the record itself, and the specimen on a visual communication design standpoint. So, a brief history. In the early 1970s, scientists at the NASA space program realized that they had a short amount of time to take advantage of a particular alignment of planets in our solar system. The alignment they had at the moment wouldn't occur for another 170 years. There was only a short amount of time left to take advantage of the alignment and allow future spacecrafts to reach escape velocity. There was one big dilemma, though. If it could be done, the spacecraft could travel further than it would be able to and utilize the planet orbits, and through the travel, use minimal fuel usage. The problem was that the window was closing, and NASA lacked the funding to meet deadlines of future programs. By chance, Dr. Carl Sagan came up with the idea to birth future programs. This is Dr. Carl Sagan. He had been an advisor to NASA since the 1950s, and he also worked on multiple spacecrafts, including the Mariner 2 and the Viking 1, as well as being a published author. Uh, so during this process, NASA was going to send out the space probes for Pioneer 10 and 11. Uh, but Carl Sagan had an idea. He approached his colleagues at NASA, stating that this is going to be the first man made space probe to ever leave our solar system, and that attached to it should be a message in case any extraterrestrials happen to find it. So, him and along with his colleague, uh, Hans Mark, and his wife, designed the plaque and were able to put it onto the probe without NASA really knowing at the time. So this is the plaque. Along with his wife, he designed it to have a pulsar map, a hydrogen diagram, and some human anatomy showcasing that these are the beings that are on Earth. Uh, Instead of going through the board meetings and the bureaucracy, Hansmark just placed it on it without NASA really finding out until later. It was launched in 1973. They didn't really like the idea of the naked humans, but can't really do anything about it after it was launched. From the success of the Pioneer probes and its plaques, NASA decided to start the plans to launch Voyager 1 and 2 spacecrafts. To receive more funding, they pitched that the Voyager space probes are mainly just probes to drift into space, but they also had the technology to view other planets for science and for data research, but it was mainly to drift through space. It worked and they received funding, but it was significantly lower, but they made it work and were able to construct the spacecrafts. Uh, with the committee established and Dr. Sagan heading it, they wanted to push the boundaries of sending a message. So they came up with the idea to have a device to store the imagery and the audio contents. But the question was, how are they going to be able to find an easy way for life forms to receive the information that they were going to put onto a record? Uh, the golden plaque is a cover that measures up to 12 inches in diameter, and with the symbols illustrated by the design director John Lumbar It is supposedly the easiest way for someone to translate what are the contents of it. And in regards to design principle, it showcases unity, rhythm, and emphasis. When discussing the unity, the symbols on the plaque have a sense of consistency with the clean lines, the circles, and the dashes. There isn't much line variety, and the lines all have the same weight. Uh, in regards to rhythm, it is established by having the repetitive lines, shapes, and the grouping in order to display what order the symbols are meant to be translated in. In regards to emphasis, emphasis is just demonstrated with the pulsar map. It is a map showcasing where we are in the solar system, and the viewer's eye is drawn to the map first because it's the largest out of all the symbols of the plaque, uh, basically showing its importance of the hierarchy of the plaque. So, with the construction aspect, the actual plaque is aluminum and electroplated gold. Another material is used. It is uranium. The ultra pure sample of the isotope uranium 23 has a half life of 4.468 billion years. So, most likely, this will be drifting in space well after Earth has ceased to be. With the record, Parallel SAS manufacturer donated the blank records to JPL to use for the space program. Once they received them, they shipped them off to JVC Cutting Center in Boulder, Colorado, to be cut, lacquered, and mastered. And then after that, it was sent to a processing center in Gardena, California, to be gold plated and cut. After the gold plating, the records were mounted in aluminum containers and delivered back to JPL. The record is constructed of gold plated copper, and like I stated earlier, it's 12 inches. Once the contents of the record were translated, the team attached it to the Voyager 1 and 2 spacecrafts. The record and the plaque can be seen on the spacecraft, and it is emphasized due to the extremely gold nature of the disk. NASA launched the probes into space in 1977. To this day, it's still in interstellar space, but however, it will cease communications in 2030 just by the fact that it's so far away from where we can translate information. So when decoding the symbols, it looks like rocket science, right? All you see is lines, dashes, and circles, but the main objective is to have the translation easy to decipher and to not have too many pictures on the disk. So the designing director John Lombard created the diagrams to help unlock the contents of the record step by step. So let's break it down. The first image you'll see is the pulsar map. This is the largest, most notable image of the plaque. A pulsar map helps demonstrate our location in the universe. The diagram shows our sun used 14 pulsars in our direction. Using the binary code, it defines the frequency of the pulses, and it's basically a map showcasing where our solar system is. On the bottom right portion of the plaque is the hydrogen atom. This is a main key on how to decode and translate the images and the audio on the record. Depicting the hydrogen atom is going through a process called hyperfine transition. The vertical lines with the dots indicate that the spin momentum and its timing. This formula helps unlock how to use the record and how to play it. So next, on the top right portion of the disc is showcasing how to play the record with the use of binary numbers, which are the dashes. The numbers translate how fast to play the record, and the image shows the stylus being used and how to correctly lay the record at what elevation to have it spin. This is for the audio of side A on the record. Side B, This is a diagram for it. On the right part of the plaque are the diagrams to correctly play the video portion of the record. The top is showing the waveform data shown broken up. It is a way to time the wavelengths. The image below that is a binary code that shows how many scans it would have to have. The third image is showing the direction of the scan, and the bottom image is an illustration of what the first image is if you decoded the information correctly. So basically, if you receive the image with the circle and the square encased in it, you've cracked the code and you're able to see all the pictures on the record. Here is a more detailed diagram of how to correctly figure out how to decode each portion of the record. So let's move on to the contents of the record. Once you've had decoded the information, you will be able to view the content, which ranges from the pictures and the audio. Let's start with the audio. On side A of the record, it is a accumulation of a variety of audio clips. The first portion is 55 greetings in different languages. Then it's proceeded to an array of music including classical, jazz, rock and roll, and native audio. The native audio clips were the hardest to obtain due to the copyright restrictions. It also includes sounds from Earth, including whale songs, wind, and man-made objects. Then, once you go to the other side and you're able to decode the wavelengths on those records, you're able to get scans of images from a variety of man-made objects, some pictures of babies, and things of that nature. The Golden Plaque has been referred to in pop culture since the 1970s. It's often overlooked to be fake due to the fact that it's in fantasy movies. Prior to researching the specimen, I thought it was fake. Uh, I thought it was something like a fictional city like El Dorado or aliens in Area 51, just false information. But to find that this was able to be picked as a topic, I thought it'd be very interesting to dive into a piece of history that has contemporary art on. The plaque is often used in movies, shows, and music as inspiration. The plaque is often not used in a positive manner, though. In the X-Files television series, one of the antagonist alien factions find the golden Voyager plaque and come to Earth to experiment on the humans. In Battlefield Earth, a movie with John Travolta, it is about an extraterrestrial race that find the plaque and travel to Earth and enslave the population. And in regards to music, the heavy metal band Cattle Decapitation's theme is overall the dread of humanity, and it uses the greetings portion of the Voyager plaque in an ironic fashion right before their newest album. The semiotics of this disc showcase that the golden plaque is a symbol of progress. The statement is trying to illustrate that this is Earth, this is us. And if decoded, these are what Earth is and the progress we've accomplished. The design elements in use are line, shape, and space. The use of dashed lines, the wavelengths, the circles, and the space in between illustrate a clean, futuristic look, but it's still timeless. And just because of the mathematical nature and not many people knowing how to figure out how to decipher, it makes it very futuristic. Using math in limited space, the creators state that design the symbols as an index for other life forms to decode the information on the plaque. Once depicted, the images and the audio show the best of humanity, but some do criticize of the thought that we have gotten away from the optimism shown on the disc, that we are leaving out the unpleasant side of humanity, such as war and global pollution, racism, things of that nature. It is important to study the specimen because we all, well after the planet ceases to be, that the plaque will most likely travel through the cosmos. It is an archaeological piece of history with the message, "This is Earth." But since the creation in 1977, pollution and has continued to harm the planet. Wars continued on various countries, and humans continue to divide amongst themselves. With that being said, if more people were to learn about the Golden Plaque and the record with the message would change, saying this is what Earth could be. With that, that concludes my presentation. Thank you for listening, and have a good day.